On one hand, we learned that we cannot consider miracles as the primary criterion for identifying true prophets, and even if such a criterion were applicable, we no longer have access to those miracles to recognize someone as a prophet through them. On the other hand, we saw that the possibility that some of the claimants are truly God's prophets is a significant possibility that we cannot simply ignore. So what should we do? Is there a solution that allows us to understand whether someone is God's prophet or not? Through an example, we can better understand our situation. Our position is like being in a place where someone has been sent by the commander of a central administration for a mission, but where communication with the center is no longer possible. Then someone comes and says, "I have brought you an important and decisive message from your commander. The commander has instructed this, and you must act accordingly." If we are in such a situation, what does reason dictate? What is the correct decision? Here, we cannot ignore the message and the possibility it presents. On the other hand, we cannot blindly trust the person or believe everything they say. The wisest and most logical approach is to examine the content of the message and see whether what is being conveyed as the commander's message aligns with what we already know about the commander. Does the message reflect qualities, values, or reasoning that are consistent with the character of that commander? Does it contain elements that we can reasonably trust? In such cases, we must pay attention to the full set of clues and evidence to determine whether trust is warranted. If we find that the person is dishonest or there are signs of deceit, contradictions in the message, or inconsistencies with previous known communications from the commander, our trust is lost and we reject the claim. But if we become convinced and confident that the message is truly from the commander, then we act on it. And if we remain undecided or doubtful, the most reasonable response is to focus on the message itself. If we find something useful within it, a helpful insight, a practical solution, or valuable guidance, then we benefit from that, regardless of whether we accept the person's claim fully. When dealing with prophets and claimants of prophethood, we must adopt this same logical and thoughtful approach. We must examine the content of what has reached us today. If we see signs that suggest the message is not from God, then we are justified in rejecting it. If we become confident that it is from God, then we embrace the opportunity and benefit from the divine guidance. And if we are unable to reach a definite conclusion, then we can at least extract and benefit from the parts of the message that we find morally, intellectually, or spiritually beneficial without necessarily affirming the prophet's claim. But how do we arrive at the conclusion that someone is not a prophet? And how do we determine that someone is worthy of belief as a true prophet? These are the important questions that must be explored further in future discussions.